Step into the spotlight.
Hey guys, so I get up this morning and come to work and it is snowing. It's snowing in Alabama. And you might be saying, who cares? Big deal. It does not snow a lot here because it's just very temperate. If you want a nice place to live but also has a lot of humidity, it would be Alabama. They have a high humidity down here, but the temperature does not get to an extreme. Like, 100 degrees to like 40 degrees, is the big variant. Now, it can change from day to day. That's one strange thing about Alabama. It may be 70 degrees one day and 40 degrees the next day. Or during the day, in the morning, it may be 40 degrees, and then by that afternoon, be 75. That's how much it can change. So you have to wear a jacket to work, and then you have to take it off. That's the only main thing. But it doesn't get to an extreme. So that's one good thing about Alabama. But anyway, enough about how perfect where I live is. I just read this comic. It's got the longest name in the history of comics. It's Amazing Spider-Man and Venom, Venom Incorporated, Alpha. We get on to, there's been a lot of guys that have gotten on to Dark Knight's Metal, because they have Dark Knight's Metal tie-in, something. This one says Amazing Spider-Man and Venom Incorporated, Venom Incorporated Alpha, Part 1. Okay, so, yeah. Let's check out this cover here. The cover is kind of mediocre. It gets your attention, but it's kind of mediocre. And then we get to the title page, and the art is like, they're trying to do this weird thing where they're trying to make it look like that old textured paper from a comic book, but it just makes the picture blurred out. You can't really tell what's going on. It should have amped the color up, and then they would have been okay with everything else. They're trying to go with a dark tone, but you can't do that when you do that texture. They should have amped it up. But basically, this has been playing out for a while. We have Low T Spider-Man in here. We have Eddie Brock as Venom again. We have Flash Thompson that used to be Agent Venom. And then we have Mania, which was a cool character back when they had Agent Venom. They keep trying to push Agent Venom under the rug, and then now they've kind of figured out that there's this cult following, and they're trying to, like, kind of put him back in the limelight a little bit. People really like Agent Venom. They really liked him because he was an anti-hero. He wasn't Venom per se, so you got another character out of it. You got Venom, you got Agent Venom. People like symbiotes, okay? And he was a completely different character because Flash Thompson was completely different. It says that the writers are Dan Slott and Mike Costa, and Dan Slott had to make sure his name was first. But really, he was a consultant in this book. There's nothing about this book that says Dan Slott because it's a good book. I guarantee he was a consultant. He was sitting in his beanbag chair farting on his phone, tweeting about Donald Trump on Twitter. And then they would ask him random questions. He would look up and go, oh, what? Yeah, that's good, that's good. And then Mike Costa would just do whatever he wanted to do. You've got Ryan Stegman as the artist. He's pretty good. He's been in Venom the last couple of runs. Brian Reber is the color artist, and Joe Caramagna is the letterer. You know, that jerk on Twitter. The variant cover artist is Gabriel Dell'Otto. If you can afford his artwork, it's very good. I would almost just like to buy a book that had his covers in it. I think that's what I would like to do. Just make a book with him, with all of his covers, and I'll just buy that and flip through that. You know, instead of having to pay like $50 for one of his covers for a crappy book. So, the story starts out here, and it's in Philadelphia. It's in the past, a week ago. Mania is full-on superhero at this point. Now, if you don't know who Mania is, during the Circle of Four arc on Agent Venom, you had the Thunderbolts together with Agent Venom, which was the Red Hulk. Gosh, who was it? It was the female Ghost Rider, and it was, gosh, who was the other one? I can't remember. But anyway, they were all teamed up together. He had to sell his soul pretty much to to save the team, and in doing so it cursed the symbiote, and the symbiote started turning into some kind of creature. He was able to expel the symbiote, but it went on this girl, and the girl got all the evil of the symbiote. She got her own symbiote, which is a piece of venom which separated it, and all the evil went into that symbiote that Mania got. So she was a young girl that was constantly fighting with the evil symbiote. He left to become Agent Venom, Space Knight, with the Guardians of the Galaxy and everybody, and then when he came back, he helped her get rid of the curse, and then she became a full-on character. To me, she's much more exciting than Spider-Gwen. They should just quit Spider-Gwen and just start Mania. I think that would be a better, or just have her take the place of Spider-Gwen, you know. But anyway, that's just me. But anyway, she's catching bad guys. At the same time, she's on the phone with Flash. Now, she has a relationship with Flash due to their friendship in the past, so she's talking with him about everything that's going on, and he's trying to get the symbiote back because now Eddie Brock has it, and she's fighting bad guys at the same time. She's kicking butt, taking names. He's a true mentor, so he's like, hey, you know, when you're fighting that guy right there, watch out, watch his feet. She says, oh, thank you, thank you. So she leaves to go to another call, and when she gets there, it's a setup. They have a big sonic gun. Now, she's younger and naive. She doesn't understand, you know, that people can set her up like that. And they zap her. They zap her with a sonic gun, and I felt really bad for her. That, you know, they've really made me like this Mania character, and then they get the flamethrowers and sonic guns and just blast it, blast it, blast it till it's off of her, and then they're able to take the symbiote and take it from her. She's in the hospital at this point, and now we jump to New York City, the Guggenheim Museum. I'm sure that has to do with Guggenheim, the guy, but I don't really like him. But anyway, so you got the Ringer and the Tumbler there, and they're both kind of low-key, like C-villains, and they're trying to steal art. And then Superman does this cool thing where, you know, they're trying to play off the Amazing Spider-Man, like Homecoming art tech. So he has this little light that shines down on him that has the Spider-Man symbol. I thought that was kind of cool. It kind of reminded me of Batman. And then we get this cool shot of him standing up there, and then we get this terrible joke that says, you guys have been in jail, what, 400 times, and you've already got 5 families? I'm going to have to talk to the warden about your conjugal privileges. Oh, gosh. So then he takes them down, and he's like, you know, watch this. I'm going to defeat all these guys and not damage a single piece of art. It's going to be my greatest masterpiece. And I was like, oh, that was kind of funny. So then he's immediately, you know, when he does something cool, he immediately has to be taken down a notch by a female character. So Black Cat shows up, smacks him around, and then it gets really cringy because she knocks over a piece of art and he catches it, you know, now it's on top of him, and she uses that as a way to get away. And Superman can't, or Spider-Man can't lift it off of him. He can't lift the piece of art. How much is that piece of art weigh? At one time, he was the 4th strongest character in Marvel. The only people stronger than him was the Thing, Thor, and Hulk. Imagine living in a universe where Thor is the only thing stronger than you. I mean, or Hulk is the only thing stronger than you. Come on. And now you can't lift up this piece of art. And then he shows him here being very low T with a little bit of bad art. He's trying to push the thing up on there again. So then he gets a call from Flash, and you get this really bad drawing of Peter. Like, I can't even tell it's Peter. It almost looks like a female. They've drawn him so skinny and so feminine. And so they're basically talking, and Flash says, hey, I need you to get a message to Spider-Man for me, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense, because you're telling me a guy that worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., a guy that had the Venom symbiote that was also on Spider-Man at one time and had all of his memories and abilities, didn't know who Spider-Man was. That's a little weird to me. Yeah, but they did the same thing in the Agent Venom, so it makes sense if you continue on that continuity. It's just a little strange. You know, that was the whole dynamic. They weren't getting along because nobody knew who the other one was, you know, and they were having arguments, and they didn't know that they were actually, one was Agent Venom and one was Spider-Man. So he's trying to get a message to Spider-Man and tell him, hey, something happened to Mania, and he's afraid the same thing's going to happen. He's afraid somebody's gathering up symbiotes and he's going to do something big. And Spider-Man's like, or Peter Parker's like, we need to kill it. You know, Spider-Man's going to want to kill it. And he says, why are you trying to kill this thing? It's a living creature. He goes, oh, you know, we got to kill it. Enough said, enough said. So they leave. Nothing really gets done. And then we see the Looter, which is another C-class villain. They're really pulling these C-class villains just out of the woodwork, which is kind of good that they don't use the same villains and everything, but it would have been good to see more known villains. But basically, he's trying to steal something. Venom stops him. Venom is like an anti-hero now, but you know, the symbiote is in distress because it's constantly like dissolving. It's almost like if you're reading Detective Comics with Clayface right now. They're trying to help Clayface because he's losing his mind because of the Clayface abilities. And it's the same thing happened here. Its essence is deteriorating. It's turning back into a primitive creature, which is affecting Eddie as well. It attacks Looter and then tries to kill him, and Eddie stops it. At that point, Looter runs away, and Eddie takes back control, and he heads to Alchemax, or Alchemax. I think that's how you say it. Anyway, there's a lady there, the CEO, which has had her R&D department coming up with a sort of serum for the symbiote to keep it in control, you know. And so he goes to the guy that's developing it. He's asking for help. And Flash is there, waiting on him. Flash got a key card, broke back in. Spider-Man actually knows this. He saw it and heard it on his audio spider tracer that he has set up. And he does a little joke here where he says, you know, $3 grand a pop so I can hear Flash fantasize about bragging to Black Widow, which is dead. That's a little weird. I don't know why they said that. She's dead. Way better than rent money. Yep, don't regret this decision at all. And so Eddie's talking to the scientist which developed the serum, and he says that he's got a new serum and he made a bunch of it at one time because it was easier than making a small amount. And I get that. Just like on recipes and stuff, it's usually easier just to make a bunch. And then that's where Flash makes his entrance. So now we've got the standoff. Both of them want to keep the symbiote, and so both of them are basically verbally attacking each other and trying to talk to the symbiote to get it to come to the other one. You know, basically it's the whole puppy thing where it's like, no, come to me, no, come to me, I'm the best one, no, come to me. And then Spider-Man breaks in. We get a couple of bad jokes from the security guards because all security guards had to be talking to each other and having weird jokes with each other. It's in every comic. At this point, it's just stupid. Why do they even have to talk? They're just bum security guards. So then we get to the point to where the Venom is actually latched on to Flash and Eddie and is arguing back and forth and doesn't know, it's struggling. It doesn't know which one to go to, you know, and it's this weird moment. It's kind of interesting. Spider-Man shows up. He's in the room now, and he's like, whoa, what the crap is going on? And so he talks to the scientist. He says, you know, what am I going to do? He throws a piece of the symbiote into that vat of solution, and he notices something happened to the symbiote that he threw in there. And he says, what is that? And the guy says, oh, it's an astrobiological serum that in small doses regulates the hormonal output of the symbiote and interrupts its ability to, oh, got it. It's harmful to the symbiotes. Okay. Is it harmful to humans? He says, no, not at all. He says, okay, that's what I wanted to hear. So then, for some reason, he is now super strong again. He couldn't lift up that piece of art, but he can push over this gigantic vat of solution that probably weighs thousands of pounds and pushes it on the two guys with the symbiote. Now, earlier we had talked about in this comic book that Flash still had traces of the symbiote in his body. That's how he could follow Venom and could find out where he was at. It was like a sixth sense. That piece was wanting to be part of the whole again. So that we're going to talk about that now in a second. And so when the solution hits him, it affects them both. Okay, I don't see Eddie. Eddie's partially got the symbiote on him still, but then we get this awesome shot, and he says, Flash says, I'm not Venom. So not Venom, in fact. It looks like I'm what we used to call you, Brock. I'm Anti-Venom. And I was like, oh man, that's awesome. So now we have Agent Anti-Venom, which is great because Flash is awesome. I loved him. And now we see our protagonist, you know. He is going to be what's going to help fight these other evil symbiotes. We cut to the next page here. We see Looter, which is a C-class villain again. He gets attacked by the dude. I can't remember the dude, but this is the guy. This is the guy that we were talking about earlier in the Venom comic. Lee Price, that's his name, Lee Price. He was Venom for a little while, which was kind of odd. It was way out of place, but then you kind of see where they were going with it. They're building up him to be a villain. He was a homeless veteran, because you know all veterans are bad, and he got the Venom symbiote and did a couple questionable things with it. It ran away from him. He got put in prison, but then was acquitted because, you know, Eddie Brock was Venom again. You can't have more than one Venom, so it was kind of that classic case of, well, look, the Green Arrow's doing something at the same time that Oliver Queen's in jail. Oliver Queen must not be a Green Arrow then. You know, it was that whole thing. So then he attacks Looter, and he does something weird. He spits the symbiote on him. And what that does is, it attacks him. And I don't know if you've been reading Venom, but there was that scene where we had a crossover with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and the Venom symbiote jumped onto Devil Dinosaur but had to leave Eddie Brock. So they come up with a way to work around that. Eddie jumped on his back and then shot a little bit of the symbiote on the head of Devil Dinosaur, and it controlled just the head. So that's basically what they've done now. This is all tying into each other, which is pretty cool. So it's totally Mike Costa. But anyway, it jumps on Looter, and it controls him through his mind by just jumping on his face. And then we see in the background, he's got this whole group of henchmen now. And then you see he's a little bit different. Lee Price has the jacket, has Venom symbiote a little bit different on his face. So he says, I'm just the kind of maniac. Welcome, Looter. You just became a made man. So he's Maniac instead of Mania. It's pretty cool, because now we've got this Maniac on the loose with his army of maniacs. And so that's it. That's to be continued. That's where it goes. It's a pretty good story. It's pretty obvious that Mike Costa had everything to do with this. And Dan Slott was just farting in the corner. Every now and then he'd look up and he goes, "Oh, you know, you should put some Doctor Who in this comic book. You know, you should put some Doctor Who in here." And they're like, "No, Dan, no." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then he goes back to tweeting ferociously about Donald Trump. But yeah, tell me what you think about this book. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I hope you liked the video. I definitely am going to keep reading this book, but I don't know if I'm going to keep buying it, because I just don't want to support Dan Slott. I mean, it's rough. It's a catch-22. And almost, well, I don't know. This could be a chance. Like, let's say you're not buying Spider-Man, but let's say we all go in and buy Venom Incorporated Alpha, and it sells really good, and everybody's like, see? Venom Incorporated is selling more than Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. How does that happen? Oh, because of Dan Slott. You know, when Dan Slott will try to flip it, he'll try to say, "Oh, well, see, I can write good. You guys are just racist, sexist bigots, you know, against the female creators, even though you only talk about me and how I'm stupid because I do stupid stuff." This may be a chance. It may be a chance for us to say, "Hey, we'll buy this, watch the sales go up," and then everybody will kind of look at Dan Slott like, "Yeah, what's your problem, dude?" But I don't know. Tell me what you liked about the video. Tell me if you liked the video. Also, I have a Patreon, so don't forget to support me on there if you can. It helps me create new content. It helps me update my software. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Underground Geek out.